Hello everyone, it's Brittany. In this video, I'm going to show you some digital art tips that helped level up my art from this to this to this. Keep in mind that you won't instantly get better at art by applying these tips. However, by attempting to level up your art with these tips, you will see improvement over the course of time, which is about the same time frame at which I improved my art. My first tip is to explore brushes and texture within your art. Don't be afraid to explore new brushes and styles. One thing that made my work feel stagnant and lifeless was not having enough texture within my work. After exploring other artists and learning about the wonderful world of brush downloads, I was able to level up my work by enhancing my pieces with wonderful textures and brush effects. Personally, since I don't use line art, you won't see me using a straight mono brush. However, a lovely textured brush that can get a nice tight size and still provide texture where needed is chef's kiss. You can always make your own brushes within apps like Procreate, or you can support artists directly by purchasing their brushes off of Gumroad or Etsy. Some brushes on Gumroad are even free, with an optional tip that you probably should provide, which is super neat. My second tip for you is study what you are passionate about. In 2017, I was very deep in the dark depths of the Smite community, and I loved doing fan art of the game and making fan concepts. Cthulhu was my idea, by the way, that I submitted and it got put into the game, which is super freaking cool. Anyways, I would often follow the artists that made the concepts and card art on ArtStation, where the artists would post their process photos. I would study those process photos and figure out how they planned their composition for dynamic pieces and was able to adapt that style into how I would do more dynamic pieces myself. Learning from this allowed me to learn more dynamic compositions, lighting mechanics, and action poses. Find something that you're passionate about, such as League of Legends art, or other video game art, or movies, and find their process photos. A lot of series have books featuring the original concepts and ideas that the artists had while making these projects, such as The Art of Howl's Moving Castle or The Art of Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, for example. These types of books and resources can be extremely helpful for an artist and can really help you understand what went through the artist's mind when they were creating these types of projects. I really recommend you take the time to study the work of something that you're passionate about. My next tip is to focus on lighting. Don't stop learning about lighting. Lighting is something that can always be a variable within your work because the lighting can literally be from anywhere. Practice pieces with colored lighting, natural lighting, magic lighting, sharp shadows, or even 2 or more light sources. This will help level up your work as well as teach you along the way. Study how other artists apply the light in their work and be sure to also look at the lighting around you in real life. I feel like my old work was extremely flat and lifeless until I started focusing on lighting and how to apply it better within my work. After learning more lighting fundamentals, I was able to better amplify my pieces and make them more readable to the viewer as well as tell a better story. Although my lighting still isn't perfect, I've come a very long way from where I was. My next tip for you is to redraw old art. It's so good for you as an artist to visibly see your improvement in your techniques and styles. I love to redraw old pieces when I'm going through an especially stubborn art block and can't seem to think of anything beyond a clear white canvas in front of me. When I redraw an old piece, I'm able to see a direct impact that my hard work has made in my art, and it provides me a little bit of a boost in the attitude that I have towards my art when I realize that even if I can't think of anything right now, I'm not a failure because I'm further in my journey as an artist than I was 3 years ago, and the proof is literally right there. Go boost your ego, fam. You deserve it. My next tip is to try other styles. Maybe dish out a piece in a Kim Possible inspired style or another cartoon. Or perhaps try to study an artist's style that inspires you. Or one day try heavily painted style, nixing the line art altogether one day. The possibilities are kind of endless and allow you to grow in your flexibility as an artist. And by doing so, you may find your true calling in your art style. Personally, I used to be heavily into doing lined pieces, but once I tried learning a new style with no line work and learning how to apply a more painterly style, I felt like that was where my art heart belonged, and I haven't stopped since. I personally feel that if I never tried a painterly style, I wouldn't be where I am at today with my art, because I hated doing line art and I was about to give up on that shit. My fourth tip is to study perspective and composition. Studying can be fun when you're drawing, I promise. Pinterest is a great resource to find composition references and perspective shots. Applying perspective to your pieces and having an interesting composition will level up your art and make it more appealing to the eye. I used to stray away from these aspects of art and just do portrait work, so I know exactly how easy it is to avoid these fundamentals of art. Study other artists' work and see how they apply unique compositions within their work. Once I started doing that, I felt inspiration flow through me, and I was able to start putting in the grind to get better at making more eye-catching pieces with, decent perspective and decent composition. I'm still not there yet, but I do feel like I have leveled up. My next and final tip is to learn how to accept and filter critique. Don't be afraid of critique. Critique can be a double-edged sword. Is it coming from a place of knowledge on the subject, or just from someone who is trying to be a jerk online? Critique is important for artists, and it's not really something that we can avoid. It usually comes our way whether it's wanted or not. Unfortunately, we as artists sometimes focus more on the negative critique we receive, and it allows it to go to our heads too much. Accepting that not everyone will enjoy your work will help you understand how to accept both negative and positive critique and make you a better artist within the community. In the end, what matters most is that you are making art. People may not like the work that you provide, or they may love it, but it's up to you to push through and keep creating, because in the end, that is what is most important.